BlogTalk Radio.
Hello everyone, this is Chrism, and I would like to welcome you to this conversation about your Kundalini awakening experiences. And before I go any further, let me welcome the Celtic queen of questionable consciousness, which would be the Kundalini consciousness, Her Holiness Santara, Amelia Santara. Hello, Amelia.
Hello, Chrism. It's good to be here. Welcome, everybody. I haven't the chat room set up yet, Chrism. I'm about to do that now.
No, it's already set up. It's already set up.
Fantastic.
I've been talking on it for a while here.
Okay, very cool, very cool. I will set it up again so that I can also see it here in a few moments. So welcome, everybody. I will begin, as always, by letting you know where you can go to if you want to make a donation to the Kundalini Awakening Systems and the work that Chrism does. You can go to www.ascension-kundalini.blogspot.com, and in the upper right hand corner is that donate button, and press that and follow the instructions there. There are other ways that you can donate as well, but this is probably the best and most efficient way to do so. However, do contact me if you would like to know, say, the details of a bank account, or you want to donate in some other way. You can contact me at kundalinimatters@gmail.com, or you can go to Santara on the Facebook page and just send me a private message. But here is the website again that we use typically for donations. It's www.kundalini- Okay, I'll do that again. www.kundalini-blogspot. I'm after losing it, Chrism. I will come back to it again, guys. I actually don't have it in front of me, and I'm getting a blank, having just given you the correct one. Never mind, it's not coming.
It's all good.
I am going to give it again by the end of the show. Darn.
I totally understand. It's very different when you're behind a live microphone, and there's a certain amount of pressure that's on a person, and I don't feel that. I mean, I feel the pressure so much, but I get part of me is being taken over, and that part is very, very comfortable behind the microphone, and I'm going to give you a few other places where you can get this information, which is partly what this show is going to be about. I'd like you to know that you can get this information with about 320 videos or more at the Chrism.Kundalini channel on YouTube. Another place to get this information is KundaliniAwakeningSystems1.com. Another place for them, that is due to the kindness of Glenn Ola, and due to the kindness of Carolyn. We also have chrismkundalini.com, and there's a website there. And we're also going to have a UK website by the kind graces of Peter. And Peter has set up another beautiful, beautiful website in the UK specifically. And that will be going live very soon, and we're just filling it up with content at the moment. So that will be another option. One can go to the Facebook network, and one can visit the page Chris Mitchell or Chrism Kundalini, as well as Kundalini Awakening ! This is a group or a community. The Kundalini Radiance community can be visited. Kundalini Awakening Systems 2 and Kundalini Awakening Systems 3. These are both groups, as well as Kundalini Healing, which is a public healing venue. On the Yahoo network, we have Kundalini Awakening Systems 1 at Yahoo Groups, and we also have Kundalini Healing, and some various other groups that you'll see that I'm associated with, such as Kundalini Triads and some of the various other groups that I'm involved with, some different languages that basically equal out to Kundalini Awakening Systems 1. So there are many opportunities. We're also on the Google network with regards to their communities with Google Plus, and I believe it's Kundalini Awakening ! On Google Plus. So if you wanted to go there, you can find that information there. Plenty of information to be had. I also have 5 or 6 blogs, and I'm gonna bring Eileen on. Eileen, hello.
Yes, hi.
Hey, Eileen, do you have the names of all my blogs?
All the blogs? No, I can get them.
Go ahead, get them for me, would you? And let me know. I'll just check back with you in a little bit, and we'll go ahead and give the folks the name of those blogs. Thank you so much, my dear.
Okay. All right.
Okay, and so we have many sources of information, and I need to say that when I was in the early activated stage and I didn't know what was going on, and I felt lost, I felt confused, I felt my life was fragmenting around me. I mean, literally just wanted to die. I vowed to myself that I was going to make as much information available for people to save themselves with, for people to be able to manifest the new reality without resistance, without having to suffer so much fear, so much uncontrollable emotional expressions such as anger or revenge or any of these other things, but mostly to control their levels of resistance to these changes so that they can come into this awakening with a greater breadth and depth of understanding and feeling the love, feeling the compassion, feeling the grace that the Kundalini brings into a person. And yet if you're resisting it, that compassion, that love, that grace can just seem like some otherworldly thing trying to dominate your life. And so, it is really how we learn to resist or not to resist that makes a big change in how we're able to metabolize a Kundalini awakening or activation experience. And so I would like to welcome everybody here. I'd like to welcome Tanya and Vincent and Phil and Mary Jean and Manisha, Lorne, guest 1236, 1232, and guest 12222. Fashji, His Holiness, Bruno Rodriguez, His Holiness, and Atlantis Seeker, good to see you again. And of course, Amelia Santara, the great mother in the country of Ireland, in the land of the Emerald Sunset. She is currently collecting herself, all of her many pieces, and bringing them together. She'll be joining us in a little bit. Let's see. I'm looking for Rosemary. Rosemary hasn't signed up yet, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to have Beatrice come on. Beatrice is calling in on her phone. I think it's called Beatrice. I think.
Yes, Beatrice.
Okay, very good. So hello, Beatrice. How are you?
Fine. How are you? It's an honor to speak to you. I've listened to basically all 300 of your YouTube videos, and I'm very appreciative of all the information you have given out to people, especially for myself who is in activation, and I've learned so much. So I am not resistant to Kundalini. I'm doing the safeties, but I have several questions that I wanted to ask you, and one of the questions that I wanted to know, I was a person with addictions, smoked cigarettes, occasional marijuana, and I have given that up because I know that is not going to work well for my awakening, and I'm very interested in being awoken because this is something that is going to make me very happy in my life, and I know that the Kundalini is only working inside of me to make me better. So I'm very happy about that. But one of the things that I noticed that when I started exercising, from praying and meditation and exercising, every time I exercise, I notice that I have some type of kind of like a burn mark on my arm, and it disappears.
Is it on
I
your?
don't know.
Is it on your left arm?
No, on my right arm.
You have a burn mark, and is it in a specific shape, or where on your arm is it?
It's kind of like it's beneath my shoulder, and it disappears. It's just whenever I exercise, and I wanted to know, could this be Kundalini related?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
you're inside the activated state, and one of the things that people in the activated state really have a problem with understanding is how fully within the Kundalini energy that person is. When you're in the activated state, it's a very, very driven state. It's a state where Kundalini is constantly communicating with you, constantly giving you levels of guidance, levels of phenomena, levels of expression, levels of experience that are there to really push you towards that spinal sweep. And so with you, if you're receiving a burn mark on your right arm, which the right side of the body is basically governed by the sacred male or the solar, which would mean that would be kind of appropriate to have a, like a heat rash or a heat spot there on the right side. It's there to tell you maybe doing the kind of exercise that you have been doing. Maybe the Kundalini wants you to modulate away from that specific set of exercises or that one exercise and go into a different level. Maybe perhaps meditate more, exercise that meditation a little more than the physical excitation. You understand?
Okay.
How is your meditation in this regard? How is your meditation?
I meditate. I used to meditate at night for 3 hours, but I have 2 children, and so a lot of my time during the day when I can, I'll try and meditate for 30 minutes. Nighttime, I used to meditate for 3 hours, but I cut that down. So I meditate, I pray, and I try to jog.
Okay,
I try to jog.
Right. What kind of exercise you do when that burn shows up?
It's just jogging, running, basically running, jogging.
And does it hurt?
I don't do any other type of exercise but that.
Does it hurt?
No, it doesn't hurt. It just shows up kind of like a rectangle type shape on my arm, and then
on your bicep or on your forearm or where?
On my bicep.
Ah, okay.
It's very.
I would continue with it. If it's not hurting you, it's definitely showing that there is activity within the sacred male aspect of your energetic anatomy. Just dealing with just had an interaction with another student that's having the Kundalini rash come up. It comes up, it forms these little spots, these little blisters, and then in a few hours or even just a day, they're gone again. Okay, and this could be a precursive scenario for you, Beatrice. You may get that it looks like a heat rash or it looks like a rash of some sort, and you'll see the little bumps, and they can even become little tiny fluid-filled blisters, and they're nothing to be afraid of. You don't have rosacea or anything like that. It's just it's a Kundalini phenomena, and it typically is gone within a day or two, or even shorter duration.
I see.
Okay.
Thank you very much for that information. There was another question that I wanted to ask you, and it's regard to my daughter. My daughter is 3 years old, and I believe that she came into this life with a Kundalini energy that was activated from a previous life, because 3 times during the night, on separate occasions, my daughter woke up screaming, saying that she heard monkeys screaming, she saw a hummingbird, and that she was in a jungle.
Well, that could very well be the case. I can totally relate to your 3-year-old in more than just my mental state. Go ahead.
Then she on several occasions here in my home, she screams because she sees a ghost in the house.
Stop it. Come here. Sorry, my cat. She just dove into my microphone here. Go ahead.
My daughter has stated many times before that she sees a ghost in her home, and this jungle that she sees, she says that she sees lions, she sees a hummingbird. She says she saw a pink, like a giant, she's a spider and a bug flying in the air. When she told me this, I said, I was thinking that she probably was having some type of mental problem, and I said, oh my God, I'm going to have her checked out. Thinking that probably this could have been some type of mental problem.
Let me give you some clue on that a little bit, Beatrice, as I watch my 4-legged 3-year-old explore the couch here. The hummingbird is a sacred symbol of the Kundalini within the South American cultures. So is the spider. And the monkeys are as well, not only in India, but also in South America. I'm getting a lean towards a South American type of jungle if she is, and the howler monkeys are in South America as well. And if she's describing a howler monkey, like what I heard, then yeah, she could very well have that. And then, let's consider that mom is also Kundalini active and moving into an awakening scenario. And so I have seen this travel in, down the genetics of families. And so, I would just comfort her, let her know it's okay. Let her know that she can, that the monkey's not there to hurt her, the spider's not there to hurt her. The hummingbird is pretty and it's not there to hurt her. They're all there to help her. And it's, you just calm her fears, and you just keep track of what I would do if I were you. Is I would start a journal of Kundalini awakening phenomena for your daughter.
Okay.
And put a date on it, put a time on it, put what substantive phenomena she is talking about, and that will also help her stay connected to her experiences, and later on in her life. If she is truly having this as a previous life, which I had, then this is not going to stop. She's going to continue to be transported to that jungle, not just 3 times, not just 6 times, but like probably if she follows any of my experience with it, mine was every single night for years. Every single night. Okay. And she, she may have enuresis with it. Work with her on that. That's just because she's kind of being extremely stimulated during the sleep time, and enuresis can follow extreme dream-based phenomena stimulation. And so, work with her on that. Don't let her feel diminished. Don't let her feel embarrassed. Don't let her feel in any way that anything wrong is occurring. And you also have a son?
I have a son. He doesn't see what his sister sees, but the father is also activated with the Kundalini as well. So
now, how did your activation and his activation occur? Tell me about that.
I believe that my activation occurred in I can remember when I first felt like the cool breeze of air gushing out from the top of my head. I felt chills all over my body, and in front of my eyes, everything went completely white. So when I felt that, I was sitting on a train, and when I was sitting on a train, the train was moving back and forth. I don't know. At that time in 2013, I didn't know anything about the Kundalini. Hold on one second.
Sure. No, I understand. And the whiteout phenomenon is a very good Kundalini phenomena as well. Other people have had that too.
I know she did. Leave her there. I'm so sorry about that.
Oh, it's okay. It's like I'm talking to Lasha.
It's you know, I have two children. They're playing, and
oh no, I understand.
One is, but at the moment when
what about the father? What's his activation like?
Okay, since I've been following my Kundalini, I can pretty much tell where the Kundalini is at, how much it has risen in my body. Right now, it's in my heart level, and with my boyfriend, his Kundalini has just recently been activated, like 4 months ago.
How?
Sexually.
You guys are doing a purposeful tantra in order to do that?
No, it wasn't done. We never intended we never intended for an activation on his part. When I became activated, I wasn't looking to be activated. I never even heard of Kundalini. Neither has he. He never even heard of Kundalini.
Okay, it's not unusual. It's not unusual for that to occur. So I want to congratulate you both. Keep track of. Have him start doing the safeties as well. Have him start watching those videos as well. Let him get himself educated with this. Okay.
Yes, I've been educated.
It's important for the kids because the kids are getting the same kind of information and the same level of validation from both parents. You understand?
Yes.
So it's very important to have him stay grounded, have him stay non-resistant to the Kundalini. Okay?
Okay. I am not resisting. I watch the majority of all your videos, which all 300 videos. So I've educated myself through you, thank God, because if I wouldn't have found you to give me this immense of information about the Kundalini, most likely I probably would have, as you stated in some of your videos, probably would have went to a psych ward, would have thought I would have had schizophrenia or bipolar, because the symptoms that I was having, I did go to a hospital and complained from medical issues that I felt that I was having, and the doctors were telling me I had nothing. So the next thing that the hospital was telling me was that I needed to see a psychiatrist because they believed that my symptoms, which I was thinking I probably had lupus, was probably something that was stemming from some type of mental stress that I was probably going through, and my body was reacting this way. When I realized that it wasn't,
grasping a wrong diagnosis, basically.
I realized that I didn't have any mental disorder. I said, no, this is not something of a psychological problem. This is something relating to spirituality, but I couldn't find the name to give it. It wasn't until I came across one of your videos, and then I started listening to it, and then I realized, oh my Lord, this is what I have. And then from there on, I went back, and I can remember from the time when I had I was activated in 2013. I was on a train on my way back from New York back to my state where I live, and I remember when that had happened. So I believe it was by I don't know how I would say. I would say that at the time in 2013, I was always praying deeply, almost like 24 hours. I was constantly praying because I had a second child, and I was constantly praying. I don't know if my activation had occurred because of prayer.
Oh, it can. If you're in a constant state of prayer, that's a very devotional based activation sequence, and so of course, absolutely, and I think your prayer has been answered.
And in the process, I've probably activated my boyfriend.
Yes, I would agree.
I believe that I activated him without any intent wanting to do something like that, because I just didn't know how something like that can be done.
One of our listeners, Brooke, just wrote a little article on the Kundalini Awakening group on Facebook, and that basically, it's the Kundalini that controls who you're with. It's the Kundalini that controls, and whether it fits the time that you met, the attraction, it will fit all those puzzle pieces together. And as those puzzle pieces come together, you would have been paired with a Kundalini active male so that you could produce the children that you're producing, but also that you could bring into an enlightened status, not only yourself, but himself, and at least some of your kids. How cool is that?
Yeah. I believe that the Kundalini had a purpose for my relationship with my boyfriend and my daughter, and actually now for my whole entire family, because it's so odd, but when I pray, it seems like my prayers are coming through.
Yeah.
And it's bringing family members
another
who
student
did not
activated that way. Magdalene de Deus. She reached a point in her life where she was just having conversations with God, with the divine, and she was activated straight through that conversation.
Wow. I believe, and it was like unconsciously, without me even realizing it, I was just having conversations with God at 24/7. Just like whatever thoughts would come into my head, I would just speak to God and tell him, "Oh, this is what I feel about this, and I wish I could do this or maybe that." And I believe that this devotion or relationship that I never knew that God existed in all of us, that there was almost like a switch where you can activate this energy inside of you.
Well, not everybody can do that. Not everybody has that proclivity. Everybody has the energy. Everybody has the Kundalini at the base of their spine, but through levels of karma, through levels of understanding, through levels of social programming and the many different levels of programming that we have, not everybody can flip that switch.
I understand that. Everybody comes into this life with their karma, and everybody's karma is not the same, so what is allowed depends on what karma they have. And I just... Well, I wanted to say also another thing. There was another question that I wanted to ask you in regards with my daughter. How can I explain to her why she is seeing what she is seeing as far as the jungle?
You tell her that the jungle is reaching out to make friends with her, and that it is a place that is very beautiful and very exciting and is very, very and full of different animals and insects, and they're all there to make friends with her. And that she can be friendly with them, that she doesn't have to be afraid. It's just they talk in a different language than what people talk in, and that they're trying to teach her that language.
What is exactly taking her to the jungle? Is it her conscious mind?
No, it's her unconscious. It's her unconscious mind that has taken her there, and it's actually a if she's following the a previous life existence, it's the Kundalini that she activated in that previous life that is still with her, that is pulling her back to the jungle. Probably, she probably was partaking of ayahuasca. If she's in a South American context.
She another thing too is that me and my children, we meditate, and I noticed that my daughter early on knows she knows what mudra is. She puts her hands in mudra. She does mantras. And she doesn't have a problem meditating. She closes her eyes, and for like a couple of minutes.
That's great. You let her meditate with you, and actually have her do the safeties with you too. Have her do the Tibetans. Have her do the eye lock, the tongue lock, the finger lock, the chin lock. Have her get really, really comfortable with Kunalini in her body. I mean, the nice thing about
that's
your
what
daughter,
I want to do.
Yeah, exactly. The nice thing about her situation is she can become the naturally God-gifted, semi-divine person that all of us that are having Kundalini at an early age can become. A real blessing to humanity and a blessing to you and to herself.
Yes. I just want to be able to stir her in the right direction and teach her the right way. So I just wanted to know, would you ever consider like doing a video on Kundalini children so that I can follow up?
I have done that. I have a couple of videos there dealing with Kundalini, basically a son of a Kundalini mother activated, and I interviewed her. Now, her son was much older than your daughter, so we can definitely do another video on Kundalini children preteen, and that could be helpful. And so, yes, of course.
I would appreciate that very much.
You're very welcome.
I can call every Wednesday if I have a question about my Kundalini.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And I can call because I'm just so very, very thankful that I have you, where I can be guided through my process with you, especially in Western culture. My boyfriend is Indian. He's from India, and we talked about ashrams, and I just was curious, where is your ashram?
It's
here in
Santa Rosa, California.
Santa Rosa, California. And for okay, I just wanted to also ask you another thing. Also, I have family members. They're Spanish. They are very interested in learning about the Kundalini process. I just wanted to know, have you ever considered thinking about doing any programs in Spanish?
I'd love to do programs in Spanish. Right now I have Bruno Rodriguez, who's a Spanish speaker. I also have another gentleman from Peru that will be taking a tour with us to Peru. But I've been toying with the idea of doing a Spanish seminar, figuring out a way to do a Spanish seminar. It would have to be scripted, which means I would have to, learn very specific phrases as far as Spanish goes. What's going on? Justin has a question. Oh, Justin, no worries. I will get right to you, I think. I don't see Justin anywhere, but okay. Cole has logged out. Just a second here, Beatrice. Let's see here. Just one moment, my dear.
Mm-hmm.
Justin has a question, but I feel he may not be what he says he is. We've had that here before. Okay, but yeah, I would love to do a Spanish seminar. And Beatrice, if you'd like to get together with myself or to get together with with Eileen Laurel. If you go to ELORO55 at yahoo.com, that is Eileen Laurel. She's one of the Kundalini ambassadors, as well as Rosemary Goliath, who is her phone number is 651-528-8895. I believe that is Rosemary. Let me make sure. Where are we at here? Gee, just a second, Beatrice. Rosemary, is this you? Rosemary? Well, you may want to ignore that.
Oh, I think you just given my number. This is Joey.
Joey! Hello, Joey. Sorry about that, Joey. It's a 651 that got to me.
Yeah. Well, Rosemary must
Joey.
be on.
I don't know. I don't see her, but we'll see.
Hi, Chrism.
Yeah. Hi.
Can you hear me, Chrism?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, that's fine. I got logged off and I'm back in again, and I'm just trying to ID. We have a lot of listeners today.
Yes, we do.
So that is me. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, dear. Okay, so Beatrice, I really want to just encourage you to make contact on Facebook, make contact on Yahoo, make contact on the YouTube videos as well. We will be doing another one for that. So, and I look forward to maybe doing a Spanish-based seminar. I love Spanish. Yo quieres el programa de español. Para la mucha gente de español. Me gusta la gente de español.
Well, that's great.
I know. I apologize, Bruno. It's terrible Spanish.
No, you spoke that perfectly well. I like that. Your Spanish sounds good.
Me gusta esa lengua. Okay, my dear. Well, thank you for your call in.
Thank you very much as well. Mark, thank you very much, Chrism, for all of your information and taking the time into talking to me. I just want to thank you and have a wonderful day.
Thank you, my dear. Look forward to more conversation.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. And what a nice caller. Thank you, Beatrice, for calling in. Very nice of you. Now I have a few questions here on the chat group that I'd love to talk about. Let me see. Let me back up a little bit. Justin has a question, but I don't see Justin anywhere. So we're just gonna go straight to Dave's question. Dave has a question here, and he said, Kristen, when you get a chance, my half sister on my father's side, different mothers, is also a K person. My father had a late-in-life spiritual flowering and some instability that no one has ever really thought of in the Kundalini context. And so, a genetic which I believe is composition or component. And he continues, I never lived with my father, so contact influence is out as an answer. I see. If this is off topic, that's cool. No, Dave, this is not off topic. Like I said with Beatrice, I have seen it follow family genetics, and also even if the genetics were not shared, but you were raised by that person, that can also stimulate a Kundalini awakening. Certainly, if the parent has Kundalini awakening, such as Beatrice has, well, some of those kids can get it just by Kundalini osmosis. And you say that your father had a late-in-life spiritual flowering and some instability that no one ever really thought of in a Kundalini context. And so, genetic component, absolutely. If he's your father, there's a genetic component, kind of like a red flag that has yet to be unfurled until that person reaches a certain age and a certain level of karmic balance. And Dave, you reached it. You reached that certain age, and you reached that level of certain karmic balance, and boom, there it is. The same with your father. You say he had a late-in-life spiritual flowering. Well, that was time for him. Just like this is time for you, my friend. you Mars Sentinel, you. You don't have to have lived with them. Thank you, Bruno. You don't have to have lived with them, but sometimes it does mean that you live with them. And see, Dave continues, he got kind of crazy, speaking of his father, I think. And so, though an unacknowledged awakening that was misunderstood might have been his particular crazy. Well, you know, people that don't have Kundalini would look at a person with Kundalini and go, wow, that's a very interesting flavor of craziness. But Kundalini is not craziness. It is not craziness. And neither are you crazy. Neither was your father. I mean, imagine how fun it is to have a dual reality around everybody else that's having one. That would make you a little bit crazy sounding. Okay? You're not crazy. He wasn't crazy. Matter of fact, the two of you are living under far less of a level of Maya than everybody else around you. Maya is that Sanskrit word that means illusion. So you're living in a greater level of truth. But just because so many other people are not living that greater level of truth, it makes you look crazy in relation to them. And so you just don't compare yourself to them. You don't compare yourself to the unawakened because there are no comparisons. You have far more than one reality matrix that you're living your life through. They have one. There's a big difference there. Good question. Good question, Dave. Thank you for asking it. Moving on, it looks like we've got Joey. Joey's so sweet. Good to hear you, Joey. And I'm sorry I gave out your phone number. You probably get all these wonderful calls now. And let's see, anybody else on here that wants to ask a question? Looks like Cole's back. Hello, Cole. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and move on. I don't see anybody else. Amelia, correct me if I am wrong, but I don't see anybody else that's asking a question at the moment.
No, there's nobody else. There's nobody else, Chrism, now. Yeah.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you. Okay, so it's very interesting that Beatrice had the questions that she had, because a lot of what I'm being directed to talk about today is about acquisition of information energetically, also known as downloading or being downloaded with information. As I do these blog talk radio shows, I'm in a constant state of download, and it doesn't matter whether it's Beatrice's question or Dave's question or anybody's question that's being asked. The download comes in relation to that question and is appropriate to that question, but at the same time, and this is the miraculous of the Kundalini activation, at the same time, the answers that are coming for those questions also apply to other people with similar and even different questions. It's almost as if the divine can see a sprinkling of the population, past, future, and present. Definitely present and future. For people that will be listening in the archives, for people that are listening right now on the computers or in the chat room or on the telephone, it can see those people's light. It can see the light of their consciousness, the light of their Kundalini, the light of who they are and why they're listening. And it can see those lights, and it can determine through me what verbiage needs to be used to give that answer to so many separate and individual unique Kundalini awakening equations. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. And I see we have another caller. Hello, Mr. B. Wachnick. Good to see you here, and good to see you, Carolyn. This is the Carolyn has just joined us. This is the Carolyn that put together the beautiful, beautiful ChrismKundalini.com website. And I'd like to thank you on the air once again, Carolyn Dietz. Thank you very much for your hard work and the beauty and the simplicity of your website. So let us continue. And Amelia, does Mr. Watchnick have a question? When I'm streaming this information, ladies and gentlemen, when I'm giving you what the Kundalini in me is compelling me to give you, sometimes I have my eyes closed and I'm just streaming that consciousness into the screen. And if I don't get to your question right off the bat, I'm gonna count on Santara to just kind of say, hey, Chrism, there's a question from so and so, maybe we can remind her when she's not talking with a new caller. So there we are. Oh, okay, so she's finished with that. And Santara, did you hear what I said?
I didn't, Chrism. I was speaking with a gentleman called Vincent, and when you're ready, he has a question for you. Do you want to repeat what you said?
When you see a question that's being developed on the Flash chat group, because my eyes are closed part of the time when I'm streaming this information, could you just give me a heads up, a verbal heads up, and let me know that there's a question? I'll open my eyes and read it.
Yes, I will do that, absolutely. So when you're ready, Chrism...
Let's go ahead and answer Mr. Vincent's question here.
Okay, Vincent.
Oh, hey, Chrism.
Hi,
I'm live?
Vincent. Yes, sir, you are live.
Oh, that's an honor to speak to you. Well,
it's an honor to hear you, friend.
Well, I don't know where to start, really, but I'm kind of a bit lost, so to speak. I believe I've been guided to your videos and to your shows because I've had my Kundalini awakening this year. I think, I believe so. At least it's pretty intense in the moment.
Okay, and how is it that you feel lost? What makes you choose those words?
I'm a bit in the unknown, so. Lack of guidance, if you will. I've had a couple guidance of my Kundalini, which I do to my best.
Tell me what those. What are those guidances?
Yeah, like she wants me to improve my nutrition. She wants me, for example, to do cold showers, change my sleep habits. She wants me, I take better care of myself. For example, I do the safeties.
Sounds to me like you're being given excellent guidance, my friend.
Yeah, I think so as well. But I have a few questions because I don't know if my Kundalini is. I think it awakens, but I don't know if it has been active for longer than I believe it has been. Because for instance, I've been feeling quite cold during the last years, quite often, although it was not cold. For example, I was freezing, other people were not freezing. I was getting shivers.
Yeah, that's Kundalini.
Yeah?
That's the sacred feminine. She can express herself very, very cold, and nobody around you will feel it, and blankets won't help you warm up either.
Oh, yeah, I know that feel. I was going to the doctor saying, "Oh, my TSH is low" or something like that. But what can you do?
Good. It's always good to get the obvious medical issue checked out. So you did well doing that. Okay.
Yeah, well, I have another question. When I was very little during my childhood, I always felt presences. For example, what I told my mom also, I would see brains, like no, maybe it was an entity or something, but this was not a human being or something. I felt a presence.
How do you know it was a brain?
I don't know. I saw it. I think so. I don't know. I was really scared. I mean, really, really scared.
And it did nothing. It did nothing to make you feel more comfortable, did it?
No.
Yeah, that could have been an entity just kind of freaking you out. They do that.
I felt it like behind me, and I always used to shake my head because I was so scared. I wanted to shake it off.
No, you did. You did all right. You withstood that. typically what the Kundalini will come to you. For instance, it came to me as I was talking with Beatrice earlier. Came to me as a lot of different forest creatures, and there were no teachers at the time. There were no books on Kundalini at all, and so in many ways, I just had to suffer through those fears and insecurities that would give. And I, of course, would feel ghosts, and I would see ghosts, and I would feel entities and see entities. And so,
it's like even in my teen years, when I was going downstairs to get something, right, in the basement, sometimes I would feel very very abruptly a presence, and I would run, just grab the stuff and just get out as quickly as I could. I didn't know what it was.
Yes, that's right.
What is that?
Well, it's your sensitivity to spiritual presence or to energetic consciousness. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It'll. You got the shivers going up and down your spine, right there at the base of your neck and all the way around there, and that's a real sure sign. That's a real sure sign of a spiritual presence that's around you. And it's also a very primal sign of that primal fear that people can experience when they are in the presence of spiritual consciousness.
I see.
It's a natural fear.
Okay, that's good to know. Thing is, I've been very traumatized during my childhood. I mean, I started.
Abused? Were you abused?
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
That's a big part of the Kundalini karmic balancing. A lot of people will have that. Yeah, definitely.
That's what you talked about.
I'm sad that you had that, but I'm happy that you had that at the same time. Because look at the person that it's developed. Look at yourself. You're doing.
Yeah, makes sense. Thing is, before I started tapping this year really intensely. Like I discovered faster EFT, and I started going in there and cleaning the stuff up. The traumas.
I like the tapping. I like the tapping a lot, but the tapping, it won't always help you balance karma. Because here's the deal: tapping is a good scenario to, like, say, open up the heart, or to open up the throat, or to as if you have some sort of an injury or an emotional injury, of things of that nature. It can really, really help you in those areas. It's really great for that, but not so for karma. You have to have the karma. The karma has to be experienced. It doesn't get to be sidetracked or avoided. And so tapping will not work on karma issues.
Yeah, okay, I get what you say. I used to get really strong, like when I tap it out and I say peace, I get really strong flow of energy, and then I can see all those lights,
Exactly. So in many ways, you had to have some of those difficult, negative, challenging experiences as a child so that you could clear that out before the Kundalini would come up in full activation for you. And so here you are once again. You're doing
really
very
active.
well.
The thing. Okay, yeah, you wanted to say something.
No, go ahead.
Okay, thanks. The thing is, though, I have a visual impairment, so I have eyesight on my left eye, but it's very limited, on no eyesight on my right eye. I've been told that I've been born this way, but now I have this memory. I see all those hands, and I don't know if I can.
And you see it in the non-functioning eye, don't you?
I don't know if I see it in the non-functioning. I don't know. Might be. Yeah. Like in that area.
I don't think that's accidental. I know that a lot of, if you go into the shamanic understandings, a lot of the shamans throughout the world, some of them will be born with a lazy eye. Do you know what a lazy eye is?
Yeah.
That's an eye that doesn't look out straight binocular. And so the
other one doesn't look either.
Well, that's having lazy two eyes. But when I was born, I had a lazy eye. I had a lazy eye that my mother took me to the hospital, and they surgically corrected it by tightening up one side of the eye muscle. But I remember what it was like to have a lazy eye. I could look in two directions at the same time, kind of like one of those chameleon lizards. You could see two different things, and your brain could process two different visual stimuli at the same time. That lazy eye
would be that would work. I say if I could see on that other eye, then maybe that could work. But
yeah. And just a second here, I'm gonna break into the question. Looks like Mary Jane. Stand by here. We've got a little bit of an emergency. Where's she at? There we go. I have a terrible toothache. I'm going to get this tomorrow. The correct place it would be possible to request some healing to keep the pain and infection under control until then. Mary Jane, if you have that dentist tomorrow, don't worry about infection, but let's do work on the pain here. So just a second, my dear. Everybody who's listening and everybody who's reading on the chat room and who's listening on their computer, let us send a very, very strong and effective healing for Mary Jean right now for her tooth. All you have to say is, my Kundalini, give healing that is appropriate to Mary Jean for her pain and her tooth. Please, let's do this now. I'm going to count to 6. At the time that I say 6, everybody, including you, Vincent,
okay.
Let's all send to Mary Jean. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Send, everyone. And there you have it, Mary Jean. And for those of you that wish to keep sending, I want you to keep sending with her. Mary Jean, if you can go ahead and let us know if that's helping at all, you can write us on the chat room group. Vincent, I think you are doing very, very well with this. I would encourage you, Mr. Wachnick, to tune in to this radio show. Become a regular listener. There's a lot of information, there's a lot of energy that flows into you just through the hearing of it. It connects you into very, very different ways to your own Kundalini process. So I would like to, Mary Jean says she could feel it, and she's thanking everyone. So thank you, everybody. Everybody on the phone, everybody on the computer, and everybody, even in the future, who may be listening and wanting to give to her that gentle healing. Yes, and I see Centaur is typing as well. So Vincent, do you have some more questions, my friend?
Yeah, a couple of questions.
Sure.
Well, first of all, I have had one experience this year where one evening when I was tapping, a voice asked me if I really wanted to go back in there. And the next morning I woke up screaming, and there was a really intense pain in my gut area.
Where were you tapping? Why were you tapping?
I was tapping on some trauma. Let it go, let it go, let it go. I was tapping on my collarbone while I heard this voice.
Okay, so basically the voice is saying, are you sure you want to let that go? Sometimes you have to re-experience it, or you have to match that karma. You have to take care of that karma. And the voice was basically saying, well, is that what you really want to do? This would be the example of some things you don't get to tap yourself away from.
Okay,
this would be an example of that. And what you experienced was your Kundalini saying, are you sure you want to keep doing that?
Yeah, well, the next day I had this pain, and then in the evening I had this, it was really intense. I used to see all the stuff floating around in my inner eye.
So
now it's there.
I think you're being guided very well. Once again, Vincent, I see the Kundalini coming up to you and asking you and talking to you. to really guide you, even giving you the option. Are you sure you want to revisit this? But one thing that I'm gonna advise you to do, and I'd advise you to do it right now, my friend, is to give a large dose of gratitude to your Kundalini right now for everything that it's been giving you, for everything that it's been guiding you for and towards. You got to remember, it is a cogent, sentient, intelligent consciousness within you, a divine consciousness within you. Give it that gratitude that it richly deserves. Do this now, my friend. And as Vincent is doing this, I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at. I made a dark meditation room in my home one night when I went there to meditate, and I felt an intense, non-specific fear. Never happened before or since. I stuck it out, but it was intense. That would be an entity, Dave. That would be an entity. No worries about that. The fact that you stuck it out just shows the level of commitment, shows the level of resolve that you have for this. So, nicely done, Dave. Really. No, it was a big deal. I'm sure it was a big deal at the time. I felt that non-specific fear. It can be a big deal, for sure. But you did well. And you know what? I would, just knowing the little that I know of you, Dave, I would totally expect you to stick it out. You've got that mojo. You've got that mojo. Vincent, how did that gratitude go?
Oh, that went well. Yeah, I got a little kriya for it.
Ah, there you go. There's the response.
I've had the head movements, basically.
Oh, nice, yeah. I work with Magdalene a lot, and she gets the instant response too, the head movements and the different kriyas when she does a certain thing, and I have other friends and students who also, for instance, I was talking to a friend of mine, and we'll just call him E. And E, has been having kriyas for a very, very long time, and I said, well, E, let's, I was talking to him about going to Peru with us to experience the ayahuasca and how it influences the Kundalini, but in order to test his Kundalini, I said, well, E, maybe it's a good time for you to start smoking cigarettes. And he asked, exactly. He asked his Kundalini, and wow, boy, he had a big spasm of a kriya not to do that. So
I started tapping.
Right. So very strong communication. Kundalini doesn't necessarily have to be vague.
Yeah, I don't think it likes drugs so much.
No.
I stopped smoking, stopped doing stimulants, stopped drinking caffeine. You recommended that.
Yes, true enough, I do.
I do not understand how it is possible. 4 months ago, I was on 3 or 4 different types of drugs every day, and now I have nothing, and I'm not tired at all.
Well, you've done very, very well. You've been following the guidance, Vincent, and that makes a huge difference. When you're able to follow that guidance, your life will improve.
I hope so.
I hate to say it's a guarantee because, not a lot about the Kundalini is a guarantee, but if you do follow that guidance and you keep following it consistently, your life should improve. No doubt about it.
I hope so. I'm pretty incapacitated at the moment. I mean, I'm going to school.
I want you to look at that non-seeing eye. I'm not buying into it. I had a look at it when you were talking to me. My consciousness went to that eye, and I think it is for you to be seeing. It's double-dimensional viewing. And so what I think that other eye is for specifically seeing. Shall we call it the Kundalini reality? And so that you can begin to see the Kundalini reality at the same time as you see the physical reality with your other eye. Just like the shamans, just like I was able to do before my eyesight was corrected to be binocular.
What do you mean corrected?
My mother gave me surgery when I was 3 in order to correct to correct it so I didn't have a lazy eye. I was born with a lazy eye. And
well, the eyesight on the other eye is not very good either. It's pretty shitty, to be honest. So
that may change. That may change with your Kundalini. I've had my eyesight become exceptionally sharp with the ability to zoom. And I don't know anybody that has the ability to zoom. But I've noticed it with Kundalini people that you can be sitting in a park and you can kind of vaguely see the outline of an insect land on a picnic table, like 30 feet away from you, and you can zoom in to the insect as if you're like half an inch away.
Holy shit!
It's amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. But everything about the Kundalini is amazing when we think about it. If we compare it to the unawakened state, everything about the Kundalini has an amazing quality to it.
Wow. I'm pretty excited. Let's I will just follow the guidance.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You follow that guidance and ask that guidance if what I am saying to you is appropriate. Do this now.
Well, I've asked my guidance before about my eyes, and I also had the impression that that's going to change. But
there you go. You go with that. You believe that, my friend. Your guidance will not lie to you. Kundalini guidance is one thing you can take great levels of confidence and trust in. The one thing that you have to discern is whether or not it's an entity posing as the Kundalini, which happens often with people that are having the entity experience. Mary Jean says, my vision has been improving for years now, and it's almost to 20/20. And, so this is really good. This is really good. And I see a lot of people are getting kicked out and brought, having to log back in on the chat room. And I appreciate you and I appreciate all of you for being there and for, joining back in. It's good to see you, Simon Green, and the other people. So thank you, everybody, for your temerity at coming back and forth with it. And let's see, I'm going to thank you, Mr. Vincent, unless you have another question.
Oh, yeah, I do have another question. It's always like this. Also in the classroom, they say, "Oh, you have too many questions. Shut up."
No, it's all good. It's all good, my friend. You keep going.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm not taking it personally. Well, when I'm doing the 5 Tibetans, I do the first Tibetan, but since my Kundalini is really active, should I strive to do 21 repetitions?
Oh yes. Keep it going.
I should always keep it going.
Keep it going, always. Now, if you start getting a headache, if you start getting kind of a severe headache, let me give you an example. Sometimes I will have a student do the 5 Tibetans 3 times a day. Mm-hmm. That's quite a bit of spins. That's quite a bit of these pumps that the 5 Tibetans that are pulling the Kundalini up through the spine. And as they follow that instruction, they might start getting a headache. And I'm looking at that and I'm going, okay, too much energy coming in. They've reached the limit of where they need to be at this time. And so it is okay to begin to back off of the 5 Tibetans. And so I want you to be very cogent and comprehensive with discerning how you feel when you're, if you're doing the 5 Tibetans 21 times and you're feeling okay with it, keep going. Wait until your Kundalini tells you to back off, if it tells you to back off. And if you get a headache, sometimes headaches are an indication of too much energy. Headaches can be an indication of too much energy. It can also be an indication that entities are trying to tie into your crown chakra, and that can give you a bit of a headache as well. Sometimes too much pressure in the head can form a headache, and that's typically too much of an energetic buildup, and I'll have a person back off of the 5 Tibetans. And sometimes I also have them back off of the alternate nostril breathing or the pranayama as well.
Oh, when I do the compression prayer with the alternate nostril breathing, I get really dizzy.
That's okay. Dizziness I don't have a problem with. Dizziness is the body. Hello, spiritualizing matter. Nice to see you. Dizziness is the body processing Kundalini awakening. That's why when you're spinning to the right with the first Tibetan, you'll get dizzy. You'll get dizzy for a time, especially if you're first. If you haven't been doing it and you're just starting to do that, you'll get dizzy. But you'll notice that as you continue to do it, you don't get dizzy anymore because your body is able to process that a level of Kundalini awakening at the time.
Oh yeah, I stopped getting dizzy less and less. One time I was so dizzy I had to lay down for the rest of the day on my bed.
Well, exactly. Yeah. So no, you keep doing the 21 until your Kundalini kind of gives you that indication not to. And you'll feel it. You have a fairly good communication, Vincent, I have to say.
That's nice. I thought I was going a bit nuts, to be honest.
You're not going nuts. You're not going nuts. You're not crazy. You're not mentally ill. You're not emotionally, needy. You're not having a breakdown, except perhaps of the understandings of what reality actually consists of. Your reality is being broadened, it's being widened, it's being increased. And as your reality increases into other forms of reality, it's going to cause your ego mind or your ego expression to go, hey, wait a minute, this is way too different. I'm not comfortable with this. We must be going crazy. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
Don't you worry about it at all, my friend.
I guess the reason why I've been able to surrender so good, I mean, I've tried to put as little resistance to it as I could, is because I thought I was fucked up from the beginning, and I thought, hey, this is an opportunity for me to.
Well, you're not messed up at all. You're just having a Kundalini life, my friend. Very different.
Yeah, I know, but before I started going inwards, I didn't have any memories, no memories at all. I mean, if you have a lot of trauma, you lose your memory. I didn't have that.
Sometimes,
anymore.
Yeah, sometimes that occurs. Sometimes you can remember everything.
Yeah, that was what happened from one day to the next.
Yeah, exactly. But I just want to congratulate you with this. I just want you to hold the valuable sacred quality of what is occurring to you and what's been occurring to you your entire life. You've been following a very, very gifted spiritual agenda. And this agenda is that Kundalini. And so I just want you to be very, very happy and I want you to feel blessed with this because you most certainly are, Vincent.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Kundalini.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
All right, my friend, I am going to move on. Thank you very much for calling in, and I do invite you to call back next week. Okay?
Oh, thank you. I will tune in next week.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
And it looks like we have a new listener. Spiritualizing Matter asks, I would also like to request a healing. I have a very red, hot, swollen place behind my right knee. I'm not sure what it is, except that I have been detoxing and I think my lymph is stagnant. It's quite painful and becoming difficult to walk. Looking at that right now, it is a detox. I would have you be taking a salt bath. Brooke and I just passed through the Bonneville salt flats, and if you can get some sort of a naturally occurring salt, I'm not sure Dead Sea salt is what I know that's a very popular item right now, and I know Brooke has some information. I'm going to bring her on board here. Hello, Brooke.
Hello, Chrism. How are you?
Hey, do you have a suggestion that Spiritualizing Matter might be able to partake of with regards to different naturally occurring salts, like we got at the Bonneville salt flats?
That, salts, anything like that, Dead Sea, herbal sea salts, anything like that. Or what I was thinking when you were speaking there, was Moor Mud, Moor. I don't know if she's ever heard of that or if you've ever heard of it, but it's a very high mineral content mud.
Does it go on warm? Does it go on hot or warm? How does that go on?
You can do hot, but I usually use that cold, and it'll suck infection and just draw impurities right out of
the... Oh, nice, nice. There you have it. There you have it.
So that's what I'm thinking.
Well, thank you, Brooke. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Put you back into the blue. And there you have it. That's MORR, Spiritualizing Matter. And she also, Spiritualizing Matter, he or she. I have a week and a half of conferences coming up that I would like to participate in. Do try that Moor Mud. Here's the thing, MORR. I'm going to go ahead and spell it out for you here. MORR and mud. And give that a try. Give that a try. You got to remember, this information came from Brooke, came from a Kundalini active person, somebody who is having the Kundalini right now. And I see that you have the Celtic sea salt. Well, that's fine. Give that a try as well. But if it doesn't go away, I don't want it to get in the way of your conferences. Talk with your Kundalini. If you have Kundalini activated or awakened within you, spiritualizing matter, then that's what you're gonna, that's what you might try to do. And I see you thought about doing Epsom salt baths as well. That's fine. Give it a try. Give it a try. But don't give it a lot of panic. Panic or fear isn't going to help you at all. And talk to your Kundalini. If you have it awakened or activated, talk with it that it may help you. It may help you. And really, if you're looking at levels of detox, if you're detoxing yourself for whatever reason, I see you've been using the Edgar Casey castor oil packs. Let's see. You're most welcome. And Brooke, Spiritualizing Matter also says thank you to you, Brooke. They say I might be able to find some king of mud. I think they mean kind of mud. But get the MORR mud, Spiritualizing Matter. Get that. Okay, and so over these conversations that we've been having here, I don't know if you've heard it, but my consciousness has been drawn to Vincent's eye. My consciousness has been drawn to Dave and his scenario. My consciousness has been drawn to Mary Jean's teeth. And I not only did I see the upper teeth, I saw upper and lower teeth. This is what the Kundalini does. It will take you right there. It will typically not bypass a person's karma in order to alleviate their symptoms. I mean, with karma, you just have to live through whatever that karmic balancing is giving you. But as I look at spiritualizing matters knee, and I see the spot, and I go into the knee, this is a very important quality that it's a level of bilocation in a way, except you're not standing there in the physical. It's not physical bilocation. The closest I come to physical bilocation is through the scatter fields. Those take place. Those are from individual cells within my body that bilocate from this body to above the left shoulder, about 5 feet above the left shoulder of the person that's going to receive the Shaktipat or is receiving a healing. When you receive a download of information, it's instantaneously there. It's not coming from you. You're not sitting there and you're not looking over your reference books like the MDs do. You're not looking at reference books. Okay, this symptomology equals that curative point. This vector of infection needs that vector of antibiotic or antiviral. Blah blah blah. It's I saw that, Mary Jean. And Mary Jean. Mary Jean, for you, this may also be a Kundalini phenomenon, my dear. And you may not receive help from the dentist. Okay, I'm looking at it right now, and I'm seeing the tops and the bottoms, and it's all the way around on the bottom, and it's all the way around on the top. Let's just see what that dentist can do, and bless his hands, and bless his brain, and bless his applications to you. The one thing that I want you to do, Mary Jean, is to express your gratitude to the Kundalini for having itself present within you. And let's see what that does to your pain. Let's see what that does to your understanding of what is happening. Okay? So when you receive the download, you're not struggling. You don't have a script. I was filming a video today with a person, and we naturally want to know what we're talking about when we're giving an instructional video, right? We want to know. We want to have that script. We want to have our facts. We want to have our figures. We want to have all those things in line, all our ducks in a row, so to speak, so that we can pull from them as we're given the opportunity to do so. Well, with Kundalini, filming these videos the way I film these videos, the way I do this radio show, it is pure Shakti that comes in. And you saw me get jerked around last week, jerked from one topic to another because the Kunalini wanted a very specific level of information to be given. Well, it's the same way each time. It's just, not such a radical change of subject. Today, we're talking about the downloads. Today, we're talking about the downloads, and we're answering people's questions with regard to those downloads. And the downloads are what is answering the question. The Kundalini, the straight up Kundalini is answering these questions. And this is something that I would like all of you to begin to foster within yourself. Trust what the Kundalini wants to say to you and through you. Trust your Kundalini. Be discerning if this is an entity pretending to be the Kundalini. That's always, you always got to look both ways before you cross the street. You know what I'm saying? You always got to look both ways before you cross the street. Now, coming over to Mary Jean again. But will I end up losing all my teeth then? That's very scary. It can happen. It can happen. I'm sure that if that does happen, that you'll be able to have bridges put in and things like that will give you that beautiful, wonderful smile. But it isn't necessary so. It's not necessarily so that you're going to end up losing all your teeth. One thing that I'm going to suggest to you is to be very, very happy and very, very confident with accepting large levels of life change. Okay, if you lose all your teeth, that just means it's a very strong level of life change that is occurring for you. Some people that go into the fragmentation, Kundalini fragmentation, can lose all of their teeth. Okay, and so they end up with very, very beautiful smiles, much nicer than mine. They end up with beautiful smiles, beautiful teeth, and it's just part of the process, my dear. Do not be afraid, and do not let your fear program something like that into happening. Don't make it a self-fulfilling prophecy. Okay? Large levels of life change. That's right. Levels of life change that, different residents, a different way of thinking about life, a different, different relationship changes, different employment changes. I mean, you just go through the whole list of how big a life challenge and change can come to you, and just trust the Kundalini. Trust that it has your best interests at heart, because it does. It does. Okay? Has your best interest. And I know you're saying, I thought I already went through another fragmentation. Well, you did. And there's no guarantee that you're not going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever many number of fragmentations that you have to have in order to bring your consciousness into, and your karma, let's not forget your karma, your consciousness and your karma into a position where greater levels of Kundalini can be expressed. You are a walking, talking Kundalini marionette. Okay, and sometimes that marionette needs to be taken back to Geppetto, Pinocchio's creator, to Geppetto to have a certain thing adjusted and something else, attenuated, something else focused, and all these different things. And so don't feel that the process is ever over in you. Even if you're not feeling the phenomena, the process continues on. It always continues on. And Mary Jean says, hope it's a good change this trip. And she says, yes, trust is what I've been working on lately. So continue to work on that, my dear. Continue to work on that trust and let the trust begin to work on you. Let it begin to work on you. Okay, so if anybody, actually I want to have Santara come on, my dear. Santara, please put yourself in the red if you would.
I'm in the red, Chrism. Hi.
And were you able to collect any questions from the groups?
Yes, I have one actually about ayahuasca.
Okay.
And here it is. Someone told me that ayahuasca can help with addictions. I know that there is a trip planned to Peru, but I'm afraid to go even though it might help with my blockages. I'm an alcoholic and really frightened to take anything that is mind-altering.
Okay, all right. Well, I mean, I'm an alcoholic, but I'm really frightened to take anything that's mind-altering. That sounds kind of like a statement that is contradictory of itself. Alcohol is an incredibly mind-altering experience, a mind-altering drug. And so to say that you're afraid of taking something mind-altering, except I'm an alcoholic, you're already taking very, very, an extremely mind-altering drug already. Ayahuasca
I think the person is saying...
Go ahead.
I think the person is saying they're an alcoholic that doesn't drink, and therefore to take something that alters the mind frightens them.
A recovering alcoholic is what you're saying.
I think so, Chrism, yeah. And that the person feels ayahuasca may help with blockages, but because ayahuasca is a drug, I think, and it alters the mind, and because the person has an addiction, I think that's what they're saying.
Well, an addiction is a property of the mind. There's a specific area in the brain where addictions are allowed to be, and the ayahuasca, which is a tea made out of the mixture of the Liliana vine and the chacruna plant, which would be Psychotria viridis and Banastopteris, something is what the Latin name for ayahuasca is. It's a Liliana vine, and they boil the branch of the ayahuasca with the chacruna leaves, and they come up with a tea, and this tea goes straight into areas of addiction that a person may harbor, and this has a greater healing rate for addiction than anything the Western pharmaceutical giants have been able to come up with. Which is, of course, why it's been made illegal in the United States. It's because, oh my gosh, we don't want the drug companies to lose their monopoly on trying to treat addiction, uselessly, because they just want to addict you with something else. Say, oh well, this drug here, this will take care of that alcoholic addiction, and there you are, you're addicted to another drug. All of the SSRIs and the pseudo narcotic and the nootropics that they give to people have addictive qualities to them. So they're just replacing one addiction for another. I suggest that you go to Peru and that you find the levels of courage, you find the levels of grace within yourself, and alcoholism is an extremely difficult addiction to get over, exceptionally difficult. I suggest that you come down to Peru and you do the 6 treatments that we're all going to be doing, and really put that addiction to rest. Ayahuasca goes straight to any kind of addiction. I don't care if it's alcohol, I don't care if it's heroin, I don't care if it's cigarettes, I don't care if it's pot, I don't care if it's sex, I don't care if it's narcissism. Whatever the addiction is, the ayahuasca has the ability to challenge it and balance it. So if you want to have that experience in your life, if you're ready to get rid of fears that are holding you back, then go ahead and do it. But if you're still going to be ruled by your fears, which is a natural thing as well, I'm not judging anybody here that is continuing to be ruled by fears. If you're going to continue to be ruled by your fears, then you will not partake of this, and therefore, you will continue to find the qualities of strength that are built through your own will, saying, I will not do this. I will not drink alcohol. And, there's a very positive thing to be said for that as well. Having that self-determination, that self-discipline to say, I will not do this anymore, even though every aspect of your body is screaming, do this, do this, do this. Okay, you are taking control. And in many cases, that is what the Kundalini would have you do anyway. Ayahuasca is not mind-altering like, say, LSD or peyote or any of those, I forget what they call it, some sort of a ecstasy. It's not like any of those things. I've taken it. It doesn't alter your mind. I mean, you're fully conscious as you're doing this. You're not drunk. You're not, wandering around in euphoria going, oh, look at the pretty stars. You're not doing that at all with the ayahuasca. You're being shown, at least for me, I was being shown visions. I was being shown teachings. I was being shown things that matter to my spiritual evolution, to my physical, spiritual evolution. And this I've seen in other people as well. And so, you have no need to be afraid of ayahuasca. The one problem that I have encountered with the ayahuasca is it shows you such levels of clarity and such levels of internal correction that instead of going about it the hard way, you always want to just take a sip of that tea and solve your problems that way. And this is not the way to do it. This is, thank God, the people that are going with me live a long ways away from any kind of an ayahuasca experience, because as some of my students have noticed, they had such a fantastic experience with ayahuasca, and they were given such levels of truth and clarity and happiness and the clarity of joy and bliss and the clarity of how life is functioning for them and where their spiritual development is being guided towards and all these different things, as communicated from the Kundalini. The ayahuasca stimulates that Kundalini consciousness within a person, that instead of going into the practice of the safeties anymore, they just want to take a sip of the tea. They want to take that short path, that shortcut. And, after a while, it just won't work. You won't be allowed to do another ayahuasca experience. Okay? And so even that is curtailed. Even that is controlled by the Kundalini itself within you. So don't be afraid unless you must be afraid. And if you must be afraid, there's a reason for you not having that ayahuasca journey quite yet. Next question, my dear.
Do you feel that ETs want to destroy human civilization, and if so, why?
Some of them do. You take the reptilians. The reptilians basically violent. There are violent species of ET. Some, not all, but some of the reptilians have that violence within them, and they see themselves as being here first. They see the proof of that is the dinosaurs. The dinosaurs were wiped out by, not by a big asteroid crashing into the Gulf like the scientists love to just, that's just silly. But they were wiped out by a very specific force for a very specific reason. And some of the reptilians aren't too happy with that. And so they'd be more than happy to wipe out, human civilization in order to take over the planet for their own reasons. This isn't being allowed to happen. There are certain levels of controls that are placed upon this system that are not allowing reptilians to land their ships and to take this over, which is what they would rather do anyway. Instead, they infest our politicians. They infest our leaders. They connect themselves to the chakra system of our leaders and begin to control them towards corrupt practices, corrupt thoughts, corrupt ideologies, corrupt environmental policies, and corrupt right after that. And a lot of what David Icke says is absolutely right on the money, as crazy as it sounds. Okay, and so yeah, that is why. That is why, and yes, they do, and not all of them are that way. Absolutely not. Some of the kinder reptilians absolutely understand what is happening with humanity, the level of power, the level of grace, the level of divine evolution that is occurring with the human species is amazing to many levels of ET upon this world that are watching this world, watching the evolution of the human species on this world. We're going from zero to divinity, which most ETs cannot do. And they know the power of the divine. They know that the power of divinity is what this is all about. They are not there yet, but they are technologically advanced, so they can see it occur here. And some of them are even brave enough to take a body and to go through the human school, the human college of spiritual evolution, so that they too, their consciousness can also reach into the divine. So yeah, many ETs are here. I was just at the Gallagher Ranch up there in the Washington State Oregon State border in the United States. And there's been a lot of reports of people seeing UFOs there. And Centara and I were just there. Am I right, Centara?
You are indeed. Yes.
Did you see any ETs that you would have qualified as an ET?
I am going to say no. I certainly saw things in the sky, but I cannot say they were ETs for sure. Right.
And so, frankly, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that they do exist, and I've had some experiences with them, very, very remote experiences up on Mount Shasta and whatnot, and I've spoken to people that have had their embryos. These women have gotten pregnant by their partners, and the ETs come and they harvest the 4-month-old fetus out of the woman, ostensibly against her will, and they've been taken to these tunnels on the east side of Mount Shasta. And, the people of Shasta City have seen people coming into town wearing white robes and trading pure gold for money so that they could buy certain supplies, and then just disappearing on the east side of the mountain. So, then we go into the Amazon and, the different species of ET that are landing in the Amazon that have the ability to bend the environment to their will. And then you go over to Switzerland and the different, Billy, what's his name, seeing all of those spaceships flying around. And then there's even this one guy that's down in Peru that, he makes his home base in Los Angeles. And, his Kundalini was awakened by extraterrestrials. And so he leads groups of people down into Peru to where, to ostensibly to be in communication with those specific forms of ET where that awakened his Kundalini. And so, there's a lot of activity with regards to ET on this world, and I, for one, I don't hesitate at all in saying forthrightly that, of course, there are entities on this world, both good and bad, and the bad ones do want to destroy it. But that's because they have a corrupt agenda. They have an agenda that they feel supersedes the right of other species to exist. Very much like some humanity. Let's herd the dolphins into a bay where they can't get out, and let's let our 21-year-olds slaughter them with knives. Yay! As a rite of passage, no less. Like they do in Denmark and Sweden and Norway and Finland. How horrible. Maybe not Finland. I don't know that Finland does that. But, we're still quite the barbarian species ourselves. We don't have, a lot of room to judge other barbarian species that are technologically more advanced than us. Next question, my dear.
How to deal with the heart chakra symptoms? I can't breathe well when this happens, and I don't know how to help this along.
You help it along by practicing forgiveness and gratitude. And remember that program that I had in Pennsylvania, where you have strong, widened levels of love, of unconditional love, reaching out into the population. Part of the problem that people have with heart activations or the infusion of Kundalini into the heart chakra is they only are allowing themselves to experience love within a certain defined parameter of expression. And the Kundalini is going to push that parameter of expression extremely wide, and yet the ego of the person is going, no, it can only be this wide and only this way at this time because that's what I'm comfortable with. And so that resistance to the expansion properties of the Kundalini is what is going to cause the pain, the shortness of breath, the inability to take a deep breath. And so you really need to step out of the way with yourself. Accept the expanded understanding that the Kundalini is giving you, the expanded spectrum of unconditional love that the Kundalini is planting within you. And really step out of your own resistance to that. Step out of thinking that love can only be done this one way or this specific way that I, the ego, am so comfortable with. Expand your love far beyond its current parameters. Let yourself go into the unconditional areas of love, where you're not conditioning it through the ego. You're not conditioning it through familiarity. You're not conditioning it through certain programs of a societal or religious or sociological input. Clear yourself. Go into neutrality and then just let yourself be expanded. Unconditional love is real and happens with the Kundalini. For those of you in the activation stage, the more you can be unconditional in your love, the stronger you're pushing yourself into that spinal sweep. Next question, my dear.
Almost every time I read about Kundalini awakening, people are writing about how hard it is. Why is becoming one with God a difficult experience, and why not a joyful experience?
So ask that question again, please.
Almost every time I read about Kundalini awakening, people are writing about how hard it is. Why is becoming one with God a difficult experience, and why not a joyful experience?
Exactly. I agree completely. Most of it is resistance. People want to have the awakening on their own terms. Some of them want to push it. Some of them want to go down to war zones and get possessed by entities. Some people want to take drugs. Some people want to they don't want to do any work. They just want to be enlightened, and that enlightenment happens to also deal with our karma. It happens to deal with all the stuff that we have earned through other experiences, other lifetimes, and we have to go through that. That's why, as I was talking with Vincent earlier, that is why the childhood can be so difficult. And most of the stuff that you're reading on the web doesn't really have to do with the awakening. It has to do with Kundalini syndrome, which is the resistance to the activation or awakening of Kundalini. And then you have those fragmentation experiences like many people on this show have had. The fragmentation tears your reality to pieces because it must. Some people have the very, very, very strong agenda to have their Kundalini take them into areas of reconstruction. And in order to reconstruct the spiritual evolution of a person, that current level of evolution of that person, mind, body, soul, psychology, ego, has to be torn away, has to be ended, has to be transformed. And that's what these fragmentations are doing. And so those can also be very, very difficult. And of course, the person will resist that. And so the Kundalini responds. If you're having a fragmentation and you're resisting it, the Kundalini will respond with even greater levels of demolition to the idea that you can control what is happening, that you don't have to surrender to what is happening. You must surrender to what is happening. So much more has been written about the difficult areas of the Kundalini rather than the productive, helpful, loving, wonderful areas of the Kundalini. That's what I and others are here to really remedy, giving solid, good, authentic knowledge. That is what people need to read in the internet. And some people are led there by their Kundalini. They're just led straight to where this good information is coming to them. And some other people that may have a different kind of an agenda with the Kundalini are being led somewhere else. They're being led into the areas of fragmentation. They're being led into the areas of ego refinement, such as, tearing the ego down and rebuilding it back up to a greater level of a greater approximation of what they need in order to go further into the Kundalini agenda, rather than forming their own agenda and thinking that that is Kundalini and following that. The Kundalini will correct that misunderstanding. You understand? I don't know if I answered the question. What do you think, Santara?
I think you answered the question, Chrism. I do. As it's your tapping.
Oh, sorry, everybody. Oh, that's one thing.
Okay.
That's one thing I want to talk about is the component of energy that the Kundalini gives a person is tremendous. I am like a live wire. I have to move all the time. And this is not restless leg syndrome or restless pinky syndrome or restless earlobe syndrome or restless eye blinking syndrome or restless scalp moving syndrome. This is Kundalini. And it's not a syndrome. This is Kundalini giving you such vivified levels of energy that the body must respond to it. Must respond to it all the time. As I was driving across country recently, my legs are just going back and forth, and I'm just doing all these different things, and I move a lot. I have a lot of energy, and usually when you hear that tapping or that clicking, well, that's my feet going together, and I apologize in advance. I know that some folks you can hear it there. I just realized these microphones are so sensitive. Anyway, so yeah, the energy that comes through is amazingly strong, and it will dominate the physical expression for a time, and sometimes a very, very long time. And coming back to Santara, and I see we have somebody just listening. It looks like that's Joey that called back, and she's just listening. So that's good. Good to see you, Joey.
Not Joey.
Not Joey?
No.
Not Joey?
Because I'm smiling. No, not Joey. Because I said also, hi, is that Joey after coming back? And the person, no, there's another person listening, obviously from the same area, I think.
Okay.
Anyway,
what's your next question?
I have one more question. If we are, and it's a kind of a two-part question, if we are in too much grief for the loss of a person who dies, could we cause or influence that person becoming earthbound and not moving on? And could this happen to a...
Repeat that, please.
If we are in too much grief for the loss of a person who dies, could we be the cause of that person becoming earthbound and not moving on? And could this happen to a famous person?
Stop. I'll take that question first. When you're in a whole lot of grief over a person that has passed, your love and your grief can definitely hold them and keep them from going onward to do the work that they need to do. Now, they have guidance as well, and the guidance is telling them, hey, that's your husband John, and he's really, he feels this way about you because you passed, and we will ameliorate that for you. We will help you to diminish that hold. But love is a very powerful thing, and love through the grieving process is also a very, very powerful thing. And it is best, it's not always possible right off the bat, but it is best to recognize that life beyond the body does exist. And if a person can go out of body, have the OBE experience, then you know that for a fact yourself, especially when you've been able to visit people who have passed, which I have done. And so yes, you can hold them back, but you won't hold them back in a way that damages them. You will not make them an earthbound spirit. Okay? That is not within the purview of the unawakened person. That is not in the purview of the awakened person either. Okay? That individual that has passed has their own spiritual agenda, their own spiritual evolution, and that evolution will continue. It just can be less. It can be more uncomfortable for the person that has passed by having that person, wreck their lives because they're grieving so hard for the person that has passed. Okay.
Okay. The second part was could this happen to a famous person who dies, where there is universal outpouring of grief?
That famous person will have levels of filtration connected to their process to filter back the many people that are grieving for their loss, for sure. They will continue with their spiritual development. They will not come back. Elvis is not on the planet. Okay. Elvis Presley passed on. Frank Sinatra passed on. These are people that passed on because it was time for them to pass on. And yes, they were much loved and they were much worshipped people on this planet. But Yogananda, same thing. Yogananda passed on. He passed on. Ramakrishna passed on. Everybody's passing on. Abraham Lincoln passed on, and everybody was upset when he passed on because he was murdered and whatnot. But these people will have filtration placed upon their spiritual equation that they may not be. They may not suffer the interference of those who would grieve and continuously grieve for their absence. And you have to remember, when we're grieving, we are really crying for ourselves. We only cry for ourselves. We cry because we're going to miss their presence in our lives. So if you can understand that I'm crying for myself, that changes the vector of focus of a person, and that can help you to release the interference that you may be causing that soul as they continue to try to develop. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Chrism. I'm going to give the address again of the place people can go to if they want to make a donation. I messed it up at the beginning of the show. So here it is. It's www.ascension-kundalini.blogspot.com. That's it, Chrism. I don't have any other questions.
Thank you, my dear. And I'm not ending it right now, but while everybody's here still present, I'd like to thank Cole, Kunalini, Vincent 91, Spiritualizing Matter, Raven Eats, Phil Karuba, Mary Jean, Guest 1821, Guest 1750, Bashji, Elizabeth Dalton Gonzalez, Bruno Rodriguez, and Atlanta Seeker, as well as you, my dear Santara, for joining us in this program at this time. I'd also like to thank the John O'Connor in the Kingdom of the O'Connors, which would be the entire island of Ireland. I would like to thank his spouse Santara Kundalini for sponsoring this program, for paying that 40 euros a month, which translates to about $55 a month, so that you all can have this resource, so that you all can listen to this information they are giving, what they could be putting on the table of their children or putting in the gas tank of their car. They are giving to you right now, and I just want you to recognize that and thank them as well. Because the whole reason we're here is because John and Amelia O'Connor are allowing this to occur. And my co-host is paying good money every month to have this show put out here for you who are listening to this in the future in the archives, for you, everybody that I mentioned just now, for you who are listening on your computer without being in the chat room. They are paying to give you this information, and I just want you to give them a prayer of gratitude, as I do every week. Thank you, everyone, for listening, and that wraps it up for this edition of Conversations about your Kundalini Awakening experience with Chrism, and I want to thank you all for joining me here today. Goodbye, everyone. Amelia, you can say goodbye. I'm leaving it going here.
Okay, goodbye, everybody. See you next time, next week, same time, same channel. Goodbye. Have a wonderful week.